Well, hi everybody. It is such a beautiful day in Georgia. The sun is shining so bright. I got some really good news that my son that was overseas is now back on the US soil. So that is exciting. I didn't know he was going to be back until March, but he is now back on the US soil, and I had the opportunity to be able to talk to him for a little while yesterday. And so he has a baby that's being born in March, so now he will be home, with the birth of his son, actually, their fifth son. But isn't that, a mother's heart, when her children aren't around? The mother's heart is to pray and to seek God and to make sure that we're putting a hedge of protection around our children through prayer. Even if we are not with our children because they're all grown and they've all, started their own lives. But as a mom, we still are here to pray. We're still here, even if our children have no relationships with us. We are still here to just pray, to intercede, for them, to stand in the middle. When we talk about the dash, from the time that we're born to the time that we die, there's a dash between. But you know what? Even the Bible talks about a dash, but they call it Selah. Selah is the time that we pause. It's the time that we just sit patiently, waiting for God to do what he's going to do. So if you have any children that are wayward, if you have children that have turned their hearts away from their parents, they've turned their hearts away from God, the Bible tells us Selah, Selah, and that means to pause. It means to stand in the gap. It means to, listen to the music. It means to stop and to just pause in the moment. I think about that with like seeds. We don't always know what's going on when we plant that seed inside of the dirt, but something's happening. And so if we are praying and believing, for our children, something's happening. There is going to be a growth. There is going to be, the seed will pop as you continue to pour out your love for your children through prayer to God. You continue to, when we plant seeds, when we plant a garden, we don't always see, the flowers at first, because we have to speak to that seed. We have to water that seed. We have to make sure that seed's in the sun. It's no different than what we're doing when we are Selah in our children's lives. So, rejoice in the fact that God's got your back, and take what he has given to you and just pray.